course, the minute I press record, the dogs in the back start barking and the wind starts blowing. So you might hear some ambient sounds. Hey, it's Wednesday, and so this is What I'm Reading Wednesday. This is the weekly video where I come on and tell you the books that I am reading this week. This is going to be my back to school edition because we are very close to going back to school. In fact, I'm already back in the building. I'm getting my classroom ready. I have back to school night coming up, and then students will be in the building shortly. So with that, that means that there's going to be a lot more work for me to be doing, grading papers, writing lesson plans, making phone calls, those kind of things. And sadly, not enough time to focus on my reading like I did this summer. But enough listening to me ramble. I have two books that I am reading this week. First one is Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. And this is a book, I believe it was first published in 1991. So it's been around for a while. And this is the story of a group of friends in the summer of, I think, 1960, 1961, somewhere in that time frame. They live in a small town. They have different things that going on, different family obligations and family challenges and stuff. And suddenly, they start to feel something wrong about the town. In fact, on the last day of school, their school was called Old Central. On the last day of school, one of their classmates got a hall pass to go to the bathroom, never came back. The teachers are saying that they saw him leave. The principal said that, the constable said that, his teacher said that, but the kids, his name was Tubby. Tubby's sister and mom swear he never came home. And so now this group of boys, there's Dwayne and Harlan and Lawrence and Dale, I think. There's a big group of them. I can't remember all their names. They are trying to figure out what happened to Tubby and trying to figure out what is going on in their town. I've heard this book. I've heard it in conversations with comparison to the books Stephen King's It. Right now, as I'm reading it, it reminds me a great deal of Stephen King's The Body. So if you are looking for like a nostalgic, small town, creepy atmosphere type book, Summer of Night is probably going to do it for you. I wasn't born in the 60s. I was born 1979. But for some reason, whenever I am reading a book or watching a movie about that time period, I feel like that was my childhood, because so much of the things that I did growing up, playing in the woods and staying out till dark, riding my bike everywhere, are often referenced in books like this. So that's my main focus. And then when I need a little break from that, I don't know that this is much of a palate cleanser. I am also working on The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. And so I've been trying to read this for a little bit. I am not terribly far, about 72 pages into it. This is the story of a family who own a camp, and one night their daughter Barbara goes missing. And the really strange thing about that is the fact that this is not the first child from that family to go missing from that camp. And so far it seems to be, there's a big cast of characters. There's the mom who still hasn't recovered from her son going missing. We hear about one of the bunkmates from the girl, Barbara, the girl that went missing. We hear about from one of her bunkmates. We hear from her counselor, who I believe's name is Luis. There's also the camp director. So there's all of these different cast of characters that play into it, trying to, I think there's a mystery. I'm not, like I said, I'm not that terribly far into it, but we're gonna give this one a try. But there you go. That is what I am reading this week as I prepare to go back to school. Given time constraints, I'll probably still be reading it. But let me know, what are you reading this week? And if you've read either one of these books, what are your thoughts on them? Do you recommend that I continue reading with them? Leave those thoughts down in the comments. And do me a favor, if you haven't done so yet, please hit subscribe. And go ahead, and I'm going to put some videos up here. It would mean a great deal to me if you would watch one of those videos. They're changing the YouTube rules as far as who can get into the YouTube Partner Program. That's how people make money on YouTube. And I am very far from meeting those obligations. You have to have 1,000 subscribers. I currently have 381 at the time that I'm recording this. And you need to have 4,000 right now, but in February they're changing that to 8,000. And currently I have 650. So I am very far from that. So if you don't mind, and if you're still listening to this ramble, that's awesome. If you could watch one of these videos, just put it on, let it play. You could even mute it if you don't want to hear my voice. That would go a long way to helping me out as far as meeting those requirements to join the program. But there you go. Thanks for listening. And as always, my name is Jonathan. This is Mr. Pearson Talks Books. We'll see you next time.